Explain to us what Pakistan's main concern and specific concern about this India decision to revoke autonomy for Kashmir is.
Simply because this is an issue that is pending final resolution. This is very much on the UN Security Council agenda. There are parties other than India to this dispute. Kashmir has been even, according to India's own constitution, it has enjoyed a special status. So what India has actually done is to unilaterally change the status of a territory which is recognized by the entire international community, including the United Nations, as a disputed territory. And we, as a party to that dispute, have a very serious issue with how India has done it. And I think one consequence of this action is that the entire region is under a lockdown. And India has actually added its troops' presence also in Kashmir, turning the whole valley into perhaps the largest prison in the world, with about 12 million people being seen and watched by almost 900,000 troops. Right. So this is a serious escalation, I think, right in our neighborhood, which we are very concerned about.
How serious could it become? Many feel, of course, this will be fought through diplomatic lines of communication, as it has thus far, and going to the United Nations Security Council. Is there any risk that we could see a breach to your crucial bilateral non-nuclear aggression agreement?
Well, Pakistan has, and I think the world saw our restraint and responsibility even during the Pulwama crisis, if you recall, where India actually violated our sovereignty and sent in their aircrafts to bomb on our side of the territory. Even in the face of that kind of aggression, our response was very measured. Our response was dictated by restraint. And our Prime Minister Imran Khan, he was here on a visit in United States recently, consistently spoke about Pakistan's desire for peace.
Right.
And I think we remain committed to that. But essentially, I think what is really important is that this escalation that we are seeing on the side, on India's side, needs to be de-escalated for the two countries to actually engage in a dialogue.
So let's talk about the role of other countries in this. The State Department has not addressed the legality of this move yet. I wonder, Ambassador Khan, what kind of conversations you've had with U.S. officials? What would you like to see from the U.S. In terms of responding to Narendra Modi's decision?
I think there is, and this is something that the State Department spokesperson the other day very clearly said, that there is no shift or change in the U.S. position, which is to see Kashmir as a dispute and as a disputed territory. And in fact, when Prime Minister Khan was here, for the President of the United States, President Trump, to offer mediation in resolving this long outstanding dispute by itself was a recognition of the existence of a dispute that needs resolution. So, and I think we, of course, welcomed the President's desire to do so. And India, as expected, actually did not accept that offer. But for us, I think United States continued engagement, and U.S. as the preeminent power of the world, I think has an important role to play in not just addressing, trying to help two countries have a dialogue to resolve this issue, but also to urge India to undo things that they have done over the last 1 week in unleashing repression, in arresting people across the board, in turning the valley into a huge prison.
What additional steps could Pakistan take independently, Ambassador Khan? Are we likely to see any more deployment of troops, perhaps, at the border?
You know, and it couldn't really come at a worse time for us, frankly, because as you know, Pakistan is fully occupied on our Western Front. We are doing whatever we can to facilitate the peace process in Afghanistan. We also are trying to manage a border which is very treacherous, which is very porous, to make sure that no insurgents come into Pakistan. So we have a huge deployment already on the western border. So for us to see this escalation, and for us this escalation couldn't come actually at a wrong time. But obviously we also need to guard our sovereignty. We also need to prepare against any aggression that could come from India, as it was done only recently. I mean, a few months ago in the context of Pulwama incident. So we are prepared to meet any eventuality, but we are not going to be the one who would resort to any action that would endanger peace and security in the region. And that is why we are urging international community to essentially encourage India to reciprocate the consistent offers of dialogue that Prime Minister of Pakistan has made ever since he took office as Prime Minister.